Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 354. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is 3 unique and profitable business ideas you can start for under $1,000 in 2021. 3 unique and profitable business ideas you can start for under $1,000 in 2021. Now, on today's show, I'm going to talk about these 3 business ideas. And the way this show came about was many of the BEB family members, they always ask me, man, you started over 17 plus businesses. Where do all these ideas come from? And so these are 3 businesses that I contemplated starting, but I just do not have the bandwidth to actually do it. So I've done due diligence. I've even put some pieces into motion on some of these businesses a while back, but I never moved on it. So as my wife says a lot of times, she thinks I have a tinge of ADD, and I think most entrepreneurs do, because we get excited about different things and ideas that we have, but we have to learn how to stay focused and be able to get successful at one thing and then start branching off into other things. So we're going to talk about that. Also, today's show is going to be a little short, guys. I'm not feeling well. I've been under the weather for the past several days. I got a head cold, not feeling well. So today's show is going to be a little short. Also, I want to let people know, message to the Black Entrepreneur. If you ordered the book, it is coming out. I did something this time, and I was trying something, and I'm not going to do it again. I ordered the printing from China, and so we're having major issues with the printer. So what I've done as a backup, I've actually reprinted the books here in the States. And so I'm still waiting for the second shipment from China. The first shipment came and there were pages missing. Second shipment was supposed to be in at the end of last week. Still not here yet. So I actually ordered it in the States. And so hopefully they'll be here within the next couple of days. So please bear with me. I got a special gift for you guys that did pre-order and had to wait. So you'll get that when the book also comes out. Now, just a few messages before we get started here. I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Also, 2 platforms I created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black economy, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. And also my new rebranded, rebooted Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy, BEBacademy.com, where I have all of my online trainings and courses behind the academy, and you can get a 5-day free trial access by going to BEBacademy.com. Now, let's get ready for today's show. So the first unique and profitable business I thought about doing, this was several years ago before the pandemic, was creating a pop-up movie business. Pop-up movie business. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically getting a big pop-up movie screen and showing movies, be it outdoor or indoor. And we're going to break this down because this is something that I was actually getting ready to do, but I never pulled the trigger. So what it is, basically, you buy a big inflatable movie screen and you show movies, be it outdoors at parks, parking lots, rooftops, cemeteries, or whatever. and you charge people to come in, an entrance fee. And now with COVID, especially, it's a great idea, as I'm in the Northeast, and so even though it's springtime, it's still in the 50s right now. But if you're in an area that has great weather, I know there are a lot of pop-ups out in California, obviously before COVID came into play. And I know here in Philly, there's a lot of rooftop, not a lot, but there's several rooftop pop-ups. So there's some rooftop bars and decks. And a lot of times they'll have pop-up movies during the middle of the week to help generate business. So I want to talk about the money aspect in this and also the opportunity. So some of the things that you're going to need, and I'll break down the prices for you, is you're going to need a screen. And you can do the inflatable screens. And I've seen 20-foot screens for around $250. Also, you're going to need a projector to project the movie onto the screen, and you can get projectors for as low as $200. And also, if you want to do it correctly and show a movie to the general public, you're going to need video licensing. So if you're in your home theater and you have 10 people over and you want to watch Black Panther, that's just a matter of throwing in the DVD or putting on the stream. But if you want to show Black Panther or any other movie to the general public, you actually need a license to do so. So there are two major companies that will allow you to get a license to show movies in public. The first one is Swank Motion Pictures, and you can go to swank, SWANK.com, or Criterion USA, and you can go to Criterion PICUSA.com, CriterionPicUSA.com. Now, also, guys, all of the show notes are actually in the BEB Lifestyle newsletter. So if you can't write this information down, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. It comes out twice a week, every Monday morning and every Thursday morning, and it has entrepreneur news for Black entrepreneurs, news about lifestyle and entrepreneurship. So make sure when you go on the website, sign up for the BEB Lifestyle newsletter. And every Monday, these show notes go out and they'll be attached to the latest episode. All right, so once again, you need licensing. So you have Swank Motion Pictures and Criterion USA, so they can get you the licensing. The licensing is normally $200 to $500. Now, you're probably per picture. Now, you're probably asking me, well, why would I go and get licensing? And let me just give you an idea of something that I had in the works with my pop-up movie business, what I never actually finished, though, because once again, I got too many balls in the air right now. So I had partnered up with DuPont Children's Hospital in Wilmington, Delaware. And I also went and spoke to one of the local parks. And I was going to do a joint venture where I was going to do a charity event where I was going to show kids movies and have all the parents come out, bring their kids on several nights during the week at this park. I think I was looking to do 3 or 4 nights over the summer. I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And the proceeds would be split between my company and DuPont Children's Hospital. There was a fee for the park, which was very minimum. I think that fee was only like $100. Now, I did have to have people there for security, and they had their own security team that would have been there. And what I was going to do was I was going to use DuPont Hospital because they have a big mailing list. They were going to help promote the actual event along with my company. So we were going to get people in. And once again, the revenue share was going to be 50-50. 50% of the rev went to DuPont Children's Hospital, almost like a fundraiser. And the other, 50% went to my company. And the monetization on this was several fold. Number one, I was charging carloads or families. I wasn't going to charge individuals. So a family of up to 5, I think, was $25, and that included kids. And I think anything over that, I think it was $30 to $35. So if you came in and it was just you, it was $10. 2 people, it was $20. A family of up to 5 with kids, I think, was $25, something like that. So I would make money via registration, and I would use online registration like Eventbrite or some platform like that. In addition to that, the park was going to allow me to bring in vendors, food trucks to actually sell while we were at the event. So people would park their cars, they would bring blankets and chairs, and they would sit down that night in the park and they would watch the movie. And so I think I was going to charge the vendors about $250, have several food trucks out there. Also my own vending table where I would sell waters and sodas and things of that nature. So that was another revenue split or revenue stream. And in addition to that, I was going to look to have some sponsors. Anything that would make sense with that type of event, with DuPont Children's Hospital being obviously the major figure in the event. And we were going to do it for 4 weeks, once a week, one night a week for, I think it was 4 weeks in a row. And so I'm sure I probably could have got some good sponsors in order to sign up for that, because it was a great event and a great concept. Now, I never pulled the trigger on it because I had too many things going on. But in today's world with this COVID, and even though everything is loosening up a little bit, this is a great opportunity, because you can have X amount of people based on your municipality in a park, and I'm going to talk about some places that you can host or hold these events, and you can charge people and have a great time. So, for example, if you want to look at some different places that you can have these type of events. So for indoor events, which you might have a problem with right now, but I'm going to give them to you anyway once this COVID thing blows over, you can have it in school gymnasiums, garages, lock-ins, and watch parties. So here's a perfect example. So the NFL draft is coming up, right? So just imagine if you had an NFL draft watch party, you had a big outdoor screen somewhere, and you were able to put on that type of event with food and everything like that. That would be a nice event. All right, that could be an indoor event or an outdoor event. But let's talk about some outdoor locations or places that you could do this. Homeowners associations. So if you live in a development and there's tons of homes over there and you have a clubhouse maybe or a common area, you can actually do something like that, which would be great outdoors now since it's the springtime. Movies in the park. You can do corporate events. You can also do apartment communities. That would be great for an apartment in the parking lot or common area. I'm sure they would pay you for that. Backyard movie parties. If you want to scale it down and build it into a business like that, where you're doing parties in people's backyards. School events, pools, golf courses, and local stadiums or fields or community centers. Even look at malls too. Also, I mentioned earlier, rooftop events. And don't forget, guys, with retail taking a hit, there are a lot of places that have gone out of business. So there are tons of parking lots out there that are vacant. Stores have closed down and nobody is using those parking lots. So I'm sure the property management, if it's done correctly and presented correctly, would love to be able to have a drive-in movie, pop-up movie in a parking lot. And I'm sure that wouldn't cost much at all. Now, you'd always have to make sure it's good with your municipality and get the specific licensing and things of that nature. But once again, we're talking about unique and profitable business ideas you can start for under $1,000 in 2021. So let's just go over the cost again. So a 20-foot screen, and you can find these at different places. It's a blow-up screen. That's around $200, $250. Projector, about $200. And movie licensing anywhere from $200 to $500. Okay, so you'll be about at $1,000 or under $1,000, depending upon where you plan to hold the event and what the location is going to charge you. So several ways, once again, to really kick this off is you can do joint ventures with organizations. It could be any type of organization. It could be a church. It could be a community organization. Once again, it could be a hospital. You could use it as fundraisers, but it's a great idea. You just need to make sure that you manage it right. And one of the companies that you might want to look at is called Twilight Zone Cinema Services. Twilight Zone Cinema Services. Their web address is TZ, like Twilight Zone, tzcinema.com. tzcinema.com. Once again, make sure you sign up for the newsletter so you can get the show notes. But they have a lot of information, and you can just Google how do I start a pop-up movie business? But this is something that I was in the works with, but I got tied up. I was actually partnering up with one of my friends in this, and he had some family issues at the time. So we didn't go through with it because I just didn't have the bandwidth to pull it off by myself. But number one is pop-up movie business. So don't sleep on that. I know you guys out in LA, I know they have a ton of those out there. Once again, obviously with COVID, I don't know if they're still as prevalent right now, but anytime or anywhere you have an open place, a field or anything, and you can get out there and market, man, this is a great opportunity. So don't sleep on that. So that's number one, the pop-up movie business. The second type of business I thought about starting is the greeting card business. And once again, we're talking about 3 unique and profitable business ideas you can start for under $1,000 in 2021. Now, years ago, one of my best friend's brother, who's a great artist, he and I talked about creating a black greeting card company. And we kind of got it going, but everything kind of fell by the wayside. He started doing some other things and he was into his art. So we never moved forward. But the greeting card business, guys, is a $20 billion plus global business. Now, it's declined slightly with COVID, but there's a great opportunity out there if you want to specialize. So, for example, the African American or Latino card industry. So I think I think Hallmark has mahogany or something like that. So, you know, on all the holidays or whatever, anniversaries, if you want to buy a black card, a lot of times it's from the producer called Mahogany, which I think is owned by one of the big companies out there. But just think about a black greeting card line. And I'm going to give you some numbers, but let's first talk about the holidays and the events that you can sell on, all right? Anniversary cards, you have baby shower cards, birthday cards, bon voyage cards, christening cards, Christmas cards, congratulation cards, Easter cards, engagement cards, farewell cards, Father's Day cards, friendship cards, get well soon, good luck card, graduation cards, Halloween cards, love cards, Mother's Day cards, new baby card, new home card, new job, New Year card, retirement card, school card, sorry card, sympathy card, teacher card, thinking of you card, and Valentine's Day card. Now, I don't even know how many I just read off right there, but that is a lot of opportunity for a greeting card or a card business. And so here's some of the things that you're going to need when you create the cards. And I'm going to give you some real numbers. And I hope your ears perk up and I hope the light bulb goes off in your head. And we're going to talk about retail and wholesale for this business. So first, you're going to need images or artist renderings. So I was going to partner with my buddies, one of my best friend's brothers, who is a great artist. So he was going to create the renderings. Okay. Or you can go online and you can actually find renderings or art that you can pay for in the card. And the beauty about this is, guys, in this business, is you don't have to have 100 different cards. So you can start off with anniversary cards or Valentine's Day cards or whatever, but you don't have to have a lot of different images. Now, so you're going to need that. You're going to need artist images or artist renderings. And once again, you can get the images offline if you want to. Also, wording and printing. So if you're not a wordsmith, you might want to get somebody to help you create what the content of the card is going to say. All right. Or it could be a very simple card. Thinking of you, blah, blah, blah. All right. On your graduation day. Those type of cards are very simple. Graduation day, good luck, get well soon, that type of stuff. You get a little more detail when you talk about love and Valentine's Day. Okay. So that's what you're going to have to worry about. And then in terms of printing. All right. So I went online. And you can actually print 5,000 cards, and they're 4 1/4 by 6-inch greeting cards in greeting card stock for $311.50. So let me break that down. 5,000 greeting cards, literally at 6 cents a piece. And the company I looked at was called printplace.com. Printplace.com. Once again, all of this stuff is going to be in the show notes if you sign up for the newsletter. Now, the envelopes, 5,000 envelopes from envelopes.com $544.95, broken down to 11 cents each. So you're talking about a total cost for each card, 17 cents. 17 cents. Now, with those two costs, now I'm not talking about the cost of shipping or starting your business or anything like that, but those two costs, the $311.50 and the $544.95, you're at $856.45 to start a greeting card business. And once again, the cost of each card and the envelope total is 17 cents. Now, any of you who purchased a greeting card or any type of card lately, you know these cards are out of control. $5, $6 easy. Okay, so let's look at some numbers, right? And then we're going to talk about selling retail and selling wholesale. So retail, just assume that you sell your cards online, your black greeting card company or whatever type of greeting card company you have, for $4.95, right? So that's the retail price of the card. So if it's only costing you 17 cents, that means you have a $4.78 profit per card, which is 28 times your cost. Cost you 17 cents, you're making $4.78. That's 28 times your cost, which is ridiculous. Okay? So remember, and also how you make money too, you can also sell boxes of cards. So don't just sleep. If you're selling retail, it's cool to sell one card, but if you sell boxes of cards, boxes of thank you cards, boxes of whatever, double up those cards or add multiple different types of cards in there. So you could have a box of 25 or a box of 50, 25 Christmas cards, 25 graduation cards or whatever. So think about doing that on the retail side. And we're going to get into wholesale and retail a little heavier in a second. Next, you can sell wholesale. So that means selling to gift stores, retailers, and things of that nature. Don't sleep on that, guys. I'm in the process right now getting my hot sauce or trying to get my hot sauce into retail locations, and I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought. I haven't really attacked the super big box stores yet, so I'm starting with smaller stores. I created point of purchase displays, custom printed point of purchase displays and everything, because when you need to go into retail, you got to be retail ready. You can't be in there looking raggedy because retailers aren't going to want to display your products or services. So we'll get into that a little later. But you can sell wholesale, right? So just say you sell your wholesale price for the stores to buy your cards at $3.50 each. So that means with a 17-cent cost, your profit is $3.33, which is 19 and a half times what it cost you. So 17 cents is your cost, and you're making $3.33, which is 19 and a half times of what your cost was. So even though you're not making a lot of money or as much money if you sold retail, the benefit to selling wholesale, guys, is you can sell in bulk. So one store may buy 50 of your cards versus one person buying one of your cards. So just imagine if you had multiple stores buying multiple orders of your cards. That's the benefit of selling wholesale and getting bulk orders, okay? Now, let me give you a couple of resources, all right? So there's a wholesale website to sell your product to retailers, and it's called Faire.com, 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 Faire.com. And what this site does is it allows you to put your products up for wholesale, and retailers throughout the country and the world have an opportunity to see your product and purchase wholesale. Now, once again, you're not making as much money in wholesale, but you can create minimum quantity or minimum order quantities. You can't, wholesale, you can say your minimum is 50 cards or 100 cards or whatever. So you make sure that you get that bulk order. Now, the drawback to this is that many times when you sell bulk like that or wholesale, you'll either have terms. Most companies, well, the larger ones anyway, will take you 30 to 60 days out. They place the order. They want 500 cards from Jay. Jay sends the 500 cards, but the way their billing system works is they're not going to pay you for 30 to 60 days. or the smaller retailers but it's more common for smaller retailers to pay you right up front. Also, Fair.com charges a percentage of whatever the order is. I think it's 5% or something like that on the actual order that you get on their website. So you can go out yourself directly, or you can use a site like that or a wholesaler. And what I would recommend is trying it yourself first, taking products out to stores, identifying stores that buy cards, especially smaller boutiques. I'm not saying going to your drugstore or your supermarket chain and try to sell, because the buyers aren't even there, but your boutiques. So for example, like when you travel and you go to these different places and you go downtown, like I had to go for medical purposes. I had to go to North Carolina for a family member, and my wife and I stopped in a town called Asheville, North Carolina, very quaint town. And so while on the way back, while we were coming back, stopped in a couple of stores, and a lot of things were locally purchased. The stores were selling locally manufactured products. And we're going to talk about number 3. We're going to really get into it on our next business. But you go into these quaint shops, and a lot of the stuff is locally done. So if you have a downtown area, you can say, hey, I'm a local greeting card manufacturer. I love to get my cards into your location. How does that work? What is the process? And what do I need to do? So our business opportunity number 2 is the greeting card business. And once again, guys, I read to you all the different holidays and events that you can sell cards for. Now, your cards don't have to encompass all of these, but this is just going to show you how much opportunity is in there and also the profitability. We're talking about 3 unique and profitable business ideas you can start for under $1,000 in 2021. So the first one was pop-up movies. Second one was the greeting card business. And the third one is gift products. Okay, gift products. So aprons, mugs, wooden signs, and decorations, things of that nature. So I'm going to take you back to where we were coming back and we stopped into Asheville, North Carolina. And once again, a lot of these local stores, I'm not talking about the big chain stores. I'm talking about locally owned establishments, these gift shops. They had all types of stuff in there. And I talked about this before. So once again, you have a retail opportunity and you have a wholesale opportunity. Let's talk about the retail opportunity first with gift products. And retail means basically you're selling direct to the consumer. So retail is direct to consumer. Wholesale is when you actually go through a middleman and you need inventory. But let's talk about direct to consumer. And with a lot of these products, you can do print on demand, POD, print on demand. So if you're not familiar with print on demand is exactly what it says. We're not printing this out or producing it until it's ordered. So for example, if you use Shopify, which is I use all of my web or most of my e-commerce sites are Shopify. I do have one on another platform. So what happens is you can create a Shopify site. You can create product images. You don't buy the images or you don't print the images. And I'll just use an apron, for example. And you could have an embroidered apron, right? And now somebody orders that apron. The cost for you to have that apron printed up is, say, $8. You're selling that apron for $28. I'm just making these numbers up to keep it simple. So that means somebody buys that apron. They're going to send you $28. You take that $8 and you go order the apron. They'll print it up for you and ship it directly to your customer, and you made $20. Okay, so that's called print on demand. There's no inventory that you have to keep. It's only printed when people order it. Now, if you're using Shopify and a lot of these print on demand platforms, Shopify has several that they use. I actually use Printful, Printful. I hook that up as an app in my Shopify store. And so when somebody orders a t-shirt, then once they pay, if it's $8 cost, that $8 comes right off the top. Printful takes that. And then whatever the balance is that I made, it goes directly into my account. So print on demand, and we're talking gift products, be it aprons, mugs, wooden signs, decorations, whatever, and the like. So, for example, I forgot where I was, but I take pictures of a lot of products. And this is something, guys, that if you're into the product space or thinking about getting into the product space, use your phone and start taking pictures of products and different items. And what you're going to realize is anything that you see in these gift stores or these bookstores or whatever, it's nothing that's extraordinary. It's basic stuff. And the question you need to ask yourself is, how can I get my stuff into these stores? Okay, so let's take a look at this apron I saw the other day. And I'm not sure if this was in Asheville or somewhere else, but I took a picture of this. And it says, "I'm the secret ingredient." So it was an apron, and it had, a nice little, I think a picture of some type of food or whatever. And it said, "I'm the secret ingredient." The other one said, "I feed all of you a-holes." And it was another apron. It was a grill apron. It had a grill with a spatula and stuff. And it said, "I feed all of you a-holes." And then there was actually another one that said, "I cook with wine. Sometimes I even add it to the food." Just basic, silly type sayings. I cook with wine, and sometimes I even add it to the food. So being facetious, that meaning that they're drinking the wine and not putting it necessarily in the food. So another thing I saw were wooden signs, and I've talked about this before. So I took a picture of the cost of this sign. The cost was $9.99 for this wooden sign, and it was a piece of balsa wood, maybe 8 inches long and 2 to 2.5 inches wide. And it said, "It's all fun until the beer stops." Another one said, "Happiness is a kitchen full of family." Another one said, "Bless this house." All of them retail for $9.99. Literally, that balsa wood you could buy in Lowe's or Home Depot for $1. Okay, and let's start getting into these numbers real quick. So in order for the print on demand, you don't have to buy any product up front. So all that is linking up with Shopify and then using a print on demand service like Printful or somebody like that, and then putting up all the images on your site. Then all you have to do is market that site and drive people there. And so when they order, the product gets printed, the Printful gets their money or whoever you're using, and you get the balance of that. All right. So now, if you're talking about the woodworking, they even have stuff you can do canvas prints, you can do wood too. But let's just talk about some of the cost if you want to do your own printing and you want to get your stuff into wholesale or into stores. So wholesale, once again, is you're going to need inventory. So if you wanted to get those wooden signs into some of these local stores, that means either you would have to go to a manufacturer, have them all printed up, and then try to sell it to the stores, or have a couple of samples printed, sell it to the stores, and then go place the order. Or you can print up and do it in, yourself. And I'm just going to give you an idea about the cost. So just say we're doing those wood signs, we're selling them for $9.99. The cost of the wood, as I mentioned, is say $1. And you can also go online and get a laser printer / engraver. And I just bought one. I bought that for, I think it was $299 or something like that. It's a laser printer engraver, and all you do is you print the design or create the design on your computer. You lay the piece of wood or whatever you're engraving on it, and it's a laser, and it will actually literally print out or burn, or cut, depending upon what you're trying to do, whatever you're putting that slogan or saying on that piece of wood. Now, it probably would take you a whole lot of time if you got a real big order, but in order to create a prototype, it's literally going to cost you about $300 for that type of machine. I've seen it as low as $140 or whatever. I think mine was $299. But you can literally create that, and now you can start going to different stores. Hey, these are the different signs that I do. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. And if the order's too big, farm it out to somebody else and use print on demand. Or if you think you can do it, you can create semi-manufacturing. And that's something that I'm working on right now with my hot sauce. That's a whole nother story, is where I'm taking some of that manufacturing capabilities. I'm actually not going to do everything, but I can do it. I'm setting up where I can do that so I can cut my costs down. That's a whole nother story. So we're talking about gift products. All right. So for example, cups, dishes, and glasses. So when you're traveling, right, you go into the store and you'll see the name of the city or the state, and it'll be a shot glass or a mug or something like that. I saw another gift, and it was about mom, and it had mom in big red letters, and this is for Mother's Day. And all around on this mug, it said words like kind, friend, happy, amazing, beautiful, fantastic. All of these things can be done print on demand. But if you want larger bulk orders, you're going to have to go wholesale and go into the stores. So what I want you guys to understand is that, I've had products in 7-Eleven nationwide, Acme, A&P, all types of different stores. And this was years ago, so I'm getting back in the game when I had my condom business. So my partner and I, we were in a ton of retail stores throughout the United States. And so we had to go through that process. So now with my hot sauce and my other products coming behind that, I'm going through that process too. But it's easier when you're dealing with local establishments where the owner or the buyer is right there or a phone call away. So if you want to test out your products, especially if you're in a tourist area, oh man, test it out. You visited when I was in Asheville, I got a shot glass, Asheville, North Carolina. Everywhere I go, I usually pick up a shot glass or a spoon or something like that when I travel, just as a little reminder or a knickknack. And you guys, you got to understand that excuse me, guys, I got this cold. Everything that you see in these stores, somebody is providing for these companies. These companies aren't out there manufacturing all their own products. Yes, they do have private labels. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I was in Cabela's, which is, the outdoor store. And that space itself is an amazing space with all the different types of products in there. And I was telling my wife, I said, look, this is a pocket knife. Somebody's manufacturing that and selling that pocket knife, that $5 pocket knife to Cabela's. Somebody's selling that knapsack to Cabela's. Somebody is selling whatever to Cabela's. So once again, that's a big box retailer. You don't have to start at that level, but there's ways to start out where you can sell wholesale. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk about retail and wholesale right now. So with my hot sauce, it's going well online, but I'm going to be a contrarian. I'm going to swim upstream. Sometimes you got to do some counterintuitive things. And my gut and my heart is telling me that I need to go retail. I need to go retail in stores first to drive my online business. And it's something that it's been eating at me. And I'm going to follow that intuition because most times when I do that, positive things happen. So I'm really focusing now on getting my stuff in the retail locations. So I got mini bottles that are going in convenience stores. I'm working on some chains right now, smaller chains, independent stores. And then I want to drive that foot traffic to turn or convert that into online sales. So I'm kind of doing the converse of what everybody else is saying. I love e-commerce and I'm a big proponent of e-commerce. But as I go and start looking in some of these stores, I'm like, I told my wife, I said, these companies, nobody's advertising this stuff. This isn't stuff on the radio. This stuff isn't on, you don't see people on Facebook advertising these napkins or aprons, and all kinds of other stuff. I looked at this one brand of scrubs and body butters and lotions, and it was from a local artisan in the Asheville area. And I'm like, this is tremendous packaging. The problem was they didn't have a UPC code on there. They had to put a sticker on there. So I know they're not quite ready for prime time. They didn't, even with that, they're still in, I saw them in a couple of these stores around there. And I just started thinking, I'm like, man, you don't have to have a super or crazy presence online to get into stores. And, whatever people think, people are always going to go into stores. So even if my product, my hot sauce doesn't sell crazy out of the stores, it's all about recognition, people seeing it. And that's what you want to have. So I'm not going to say don't do e-commerce, because definitely that's where it's at, but don't sleep on selling wholesale. Once again, a lot of that has to do with profitability and your margins, but the benefit to selling in wholesale is that you can sell in bulk. Now, before we go and do a quick recap, guys, I just want to share all my social media contact information and my resource links real quick. Everything I'm going to tell y'all, family, is at bebconnect.com, bebconnect.com. That's a page on my website that has all my information to it, so you can hit there. So at the top of the show, guys, I mentioned my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. So if you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy, print version $14.95, digital version $9.95. Now, if you need additional assistance building your successful, sustainable e-commerce business, my new flagship pound for pound best course out there is Brand Builder Academy Elite. Go to bbaelite.com, bbaelite.com. Use the coupon code BBAELITE100 to save $100 off the program. It's a 15-week module course that takes you from A to Z, from ideation of your product or your brand all the way to selling on all your major platforms and creating your own platforms. Pound for pound, my best program. So if you're looking to build a physical products brand or a digital products brand, bbaelite.com. Also, I mentioned at the top of the show, my new rebranded, rebooted BEB Academy, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy. All of my courses and trainings are behind the academy, except the one that is not there is the BBA Elite. That's a standalone product. Everything else, courses, trainings, masterminds, go to bebacademy.com. You have nothing to lose. Try before you buy. 5 days free access to everything in the academy. You can take all the courses and everything and the trainings you want for free for 5 days. Now, also at the top of the show, I mentioned the 2 platforms I created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide black economy, and that's what it's all about. BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. So if you are a black product producer that wants to sell your products to black consumers worldwide, upload your information to BeSmartByBlack.com. It is free. You got nothing to lose, family. Now, for all you freelancers, anybody that does anything on Fiverr.com or Freelancer.com, go to HireBlackFreelancers.com, HIRE, BlackFreelancers.com. Once again, it is free. Upload your information and connect with black consumers and businesses that want to hire black freelancers. All right, so make sure you check out those resources. Now, once again, everything is at bebconnect.com. That's bebconnect.com. Now, to connect with me, anything long, family, hit me on my email at jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES001, Instagram, I got 2 Instagram accounts. The primary one is jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Also, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. So hit me at jjones for real or at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint on Instagram. YouTube, make sure you hit me on YouTube or connect with me on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and hit that subscribe button. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And yes, the show does come out every week on YouTube. Also, LinkedIn, connect with me at J Jones. Just type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, if you're on Clubhouse, check me out at I am J Jones, at I am J Jones. So once again, family, everything I just said, you can go to BEB Connect. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. Now let's get back to the last part of the show. Hey, I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm stopped up today. My voice is a little cracky there, but I appreciate y'all for hanging with your brother right here. As we do the takeaways, there's one big thing I really want you guys to take away from this is that opportunity is everywhere around us. It's everywhere. We got to stop being tentative. I'm not saying go out and jump off the cliff, but try things, test things out, and see what happens. You're never going to know what happens until you try. All right. So all of the planning and everything is great, but sometimes you just got to go out and test things, but be reasonable. So the things we talked about today are 3 businesses that you literally can start for under $1,000. And so if you plan it right, that's not going to hurt you, right? I don't know everybody's financial situation. You may be jammed up, and I get it. Been there, done that. But starting a business for $1,000 isn't that bad, okay? Especially if you look at the upside. So the pop-up movie business, now it's a little bit more labor intensive because you got to go set up the screens and all that. But the income potential is crazy in that because people will pay, especially in this day and time, to have fun, get out of the house, and do things. So that pop-up movie business is no joke. And once again, the income opportunities on that are crazy, especially if you partner up or do a joint venture with a charity or some type of group, because that can cut down your marketing costs. So when I was working with DuPont Children's Hospital, they have thousands of people on their database. And so to promote those movies for the 4 weeks we were going to do it, it was going to be crazy because we really didn't have to do any additional marketing if we didn't want to. So those are things you have to think about in terms of joint ventures. So that's going to keep your marketing costs down. Next, we talked about the greeting card business. And I think this is a wide open business, especially for a black greeting card company. I know there's a lot of them out there, or several of them out there. The question is, I haven't seen any of them really pop big into the major big box chains. Okay, so let me also give you guys some comfortability. So when you get an order for these big stores or these big chains, there's a thing called retail factoring. So if, say, Walmart orders 100,000 greeting cards, right? You're going to be like, damn, I don't know if I can't even fill the order. But retail factoring is when companies will come in and finance your order for, say, 2 to 3 points or percentage points. So, for example, if that order costs you, and I'm making this out of thin air, $100,000, you don't have $100,000 to fill that order. Then what a retail factoring company will do, they'll come and say, okay, we're going to give you that money minus a couple of points. So instead of giving you the $100,000, we're going to give you $97,000, which that's enough to print up your cards and have your profit, right? So now it's not based on your credit. It's based on the credit of the company that's placing the order, because they know Walmart is going to pay that invoice. Now, it may be 30, 60, or 90 days out, but they know they're going to get the money back. So don't be upset or be like, man, I got to finance this. You don't. Retail factoring is what it's called. It could be called other things such as invoice factoring or retail factoring. But that greeting card business is wide open, family. And once again, looking at retail versus wholesale. Don't sleep on trying to get into these stores. And you may want to start off, like I said, with local stores versus the big box guys. A lot of times, I would recommend smaller stores. Try to get feedback, see what people are saying. And this way you can tweak your product before you get ready for the big leagues. So if the response comes back, oh, I like them, but, you can tweak that. That's just like on the Chitlin circuit back in the day. The black entertainers, they weren't at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? They were at, different smaller locations. Like in Philly, it was the Uptown, right? The Uptown, which was basically like the Apollo in New York City. So they would hit that type of circuit. Now, once you build that up, then you go on to the bigger times. So a lot of times you may want to start off small before you attack some of these big box retailers. And the last product idea or business idea I talked about was gift products, be it aprons, mugs, wooden signs, decorations, shot glasses, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about when you guys go in these stores. So if you ever go and travel, if you ever stop in Cracker Barrel, if you've been traveling, you see that store that they have, a bunch of knickknacks, and a lot of it is regionalized. So If I'm in North Carolina, depending upon a part of North Carolina, I'm gonna see a lot of UNC gear, or I'll see Duke gear, or if I'm in the Raleigh area, I'll see North Carolina State's gear. So it all depends on where you are. A lot of regional stuff, but start paying attention to the gift shops and the places you go in and look at the products, guys. There's nothing about these products that you can't create. There's nothing in there that's a super crazy product. Mugs, aprons, shot glasses, whatever it is, greeting cards. Nothing is you can do everything that's there. Okay, that's the bottom line. The question is, are you going to put into play trying to create these types of businesses and start looking at wholesale versus retail? Direct to consumer is great. Once you can cut through all of the noise and create a customer base and create a brand, it's nothing like it, direct to consumer. But if you're able to sell in bulk to wholesalers and sell your aprons, be it direct to Cracker Barrel, right? It's funny. I was in Cracker Barrel and they were like, they don't sell hot sauce. So I'm like, what? And I was surprised. So that's one of my targets for my hot sauce is Cracker Barrel. But I just looked at all the other stuff in there. So if you got an apron idea, a funny apron, or you have an apron with logo with licensing for University of North Carolina or T-shirts or whatever. I did a show about licensing, right? Collegiate licensing. And so if you get the opportunity to license out North UNC's logo, costs a little bit of money, but if you get that and you put it on shirts or different things you get licensed for, then you can sell to these retail places. So don't slip on that. Remember, Faire.com, FIRE.com. I have not used it, but a lot of the buyers I've talked to in some of these small stores, they use Faire to find and source products, FAIRE.com. Now, I say this each and every week, fam, but look, we get more and more downloads, and that's because of you guys, the BEB family. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast and the blog. But much more than that, guys, it's a movement. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide black economy. It's about Pan-Africanism. I don't care if you're Afro-Latino. I don't care whatever you're from. If you black, this is the show for you if you are a black entrepreneur. We try to get straight to the point, no nonsense, actionable content to help move you from point A to point B. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast and the blog and everything, because in the next couple of weeks, guys, we're going to have a whole new rebranded website that's going to be out of this world, more resources for you to connect with and help elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.